So, a day after India versus Pakistan thriller, we are back for the dugout.
To dissect that match, in essence.
Dissect the match thoroughly, the gains, the losses. We spoke about it in the post-match yesterday, but today we'll look at the broader picture. All the talk today is just on two individuals, Hardik Pandya and one Rahul Rawat.
Oh.
Why? Everybody, every second comment yesterday, our family members were really missing you. They were asking, where is Rahul Rawat? Where is? I said, well, India-Pakistan game, Rahul is doing much bigger things like handling TV and
not bigger thing. Of course, this is also very important. Just that we have to decide amongst ourselves. So that's what we have to do. Somebody has to chip in with the television work. Somebody, of course, Siddharth and Shane were here to give you guys company. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because the match was so big that it went pretty late. In fact, till night we were doing shows and everything. So I was busy there, but here we are again.
Yes, it was a very thrilling game. Once, Jen, you missed yesterday's match. Oh man, pity you. You missed the first thrilling India versus Pakistan encounter ever since 2014.
Yeah,
2014.
we were actually discussing that, like, which is the last thrilling one. They've all been one-sided prior. Well, we got another
This was the first T20 thriller after 2012, because 2014 was an ODI, remember? 2012, the Bangalore ODI in which Shoaib Malik gave them that last over win. Jadeja was bowling. And remember, Jadeja left arm here, Mohammad Nawaz, 10 years later. What a coincidence that is. So yesterday what happened was India, once just to sum it up for you, India chose to bowl. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar simply sensational with 4 wickets. Hardik Pandya 3 wickets. More on Hardik Pandya later. Arshdeep with 2. Avesh with 1. All 10 wickets. We were all thinking it would go to pace. It will go to spin in Dubai. But it all went to paces.
I think
all
that, yesterday's pitch surprised a lot of people.
In response, KL Rahul fell in the first over itself. And unfortunately,
But he'll come back strongly in the next match.
Of course. Hong Kong.
Big knock incoming and loading.
No, I'm saying, it's been 3 games. Of course, see, Zimbabwe also he didn't do too well.
But you can still explain that away with rustiness.
Yeah.
To be fair, even yesterday
31 of 50 in the 2 games against Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, that was there. Then Virat Kohli, some sublime hits, but 35 of 34, Rohit 12 of 18, 47 of 52 balls. That put India slightly back. But Ravindra Jadeja, Hardik Pandya, Jadeja promotion and Hardik Pandya's brilliant knock ensured that India won on the last over. And yesterday, the over rates were so appalling that from the 17th over itself, both India and Pakistan had to keep 5 fielders inside the circle. And because of that, it helped India a lot more because Hardik found the fence 3 times in the 19th over, bowled by Haris Rauf.
I think the pressure was building at that time. There was a lot of pressure, even though Hardik said that I wasn't feeling that pressure towards the end. But had he not got those 3 boundaries in that over,
that last over would have been very tricky.
In that, yes. I think if I'm not wrong, India needed.
They needed 21 of 12.
31 of last 3 overs.
Yes.
Yeah.
18 balls, 31 needed, and one good over. And hats off to Naseem Shah. Whatever it may be. That young boy, to be very honest, I'm not sure whether he was 100% fit before the match.
One of our family members was saying that he actually was taking injections beforehand.
Yes. And maybe one more bowler.
Even Haris Rauf
wasn't 100% fit. So, but hats off to Naseem Shah, the way he bowled yesterday. Debut match against India, a high pressure game. Got KL Rahul for a duck. Nearly had
Kohli out of 0,
and he was testing the Indian bowlers.
That first over, he was getting such late swing.
I think he set the tone. He set the tone against the big guns, the Indian big guns, if you say. Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, and if you bowl that sort of a sensational spell to start with, it does help the momentum of the team. You're defending just 147 runs.
Yes.
So Naseem Shah, he had those cramps.
Yeah.
He was limping after his run up, after bowling, and then again he would get up and bowl
because that cramp came at an absolutely wrong time. Remember, he had beaten Jadeja twice of the outside edge. Then he had that cramp, and the fourth ball that he bowled, unfortunately, the run-up was also not right. Bowled a length ball, got hit for a six.
The way he was running, it looked like he had multiple leg weights on both legs. And I could tell it. At that point, it's like, okay, the cramp really got to him. Full credit for him to actually even acknowledge. But then I was thinking, who else did they have? They didn't have bowling options.
Yes, they had just 5 bowling options.
5 bowlers.
And they had to. And, this is what happened against. They just had 5 bowling options. And towards the end, I thought they were playing into the hands of the Indian batters, so to say, Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja, because they knew, we've often spoken about the template that Rohit Sharma himself has spoken about so often in the past few months, about a template that we have to go bang bang right from the start. But not always. A tricky score, 147, high pressure game against Pakistan, and MS Dhoni style. I think in this particular game you needed a brain like MS Dhoni.
Yes.
And I think Hardik Pandya did exactly that. Took it right till the end. Knew that they had Mohammad Nawaz still left to bowl that last over, a left arm spinner. Ravindra Jadeja was also there, by the way. He got out to that first ball. But
and I think Jadeja's promotion upset Pakistan's plans because they had to delay Nawaz a lot more, and that is why he bowled that final over, unfortunately.
That's something I think Mickey Arthur had been saying. I still remember him saying that,
all right.
There is Nikhil.
All right, we've got Nikhil Naz, who was an eyewitness to whatever happened there in Dubai. Hardik Pandya, Nikhil, you enjoyed pretty much, I guess. It was a long day for you yesterday in Dubai, especially in that searing heat. Can you hear me, Nikhil?
Yeah, I can. Of course, I can hear you very clearly.
Nikhil, can you? There's a discussion that we guys were doing earlier. Who's going to be the man of the match in the next match against Hong Kong?
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this.
No, I am not.
I know where you're going, but I will not fall prey to the trap that you're setting.
No,
Shane went there last night. It's okay.
Shane has been insisting that we already have a man of the match in that next match against Hong Kong.
Okay, I think it's an easy one to say that I think you will be proven wrong.
So you have other guys too.
Yeah.
Anyways, I heard you met Virat today.
Yes. So I met Virat Kohli, pretty relaxed. He's been chilling like a villain here in Dubai with the heat. So, but yeah, he's looked really relaxed the last few days. I think that first game was a high intensity, high pressure game. I think now that it's over, I saw him much more relaxed today than previous days. So he, was there at the breakfast. We've been seeing him every day at breakfast. As you expect with him, always eats a very healthy breakfast. There are 6 things that he's always eating. He'll have a detox juice and along with that some bread that he chooses and various other things. So I mean, with Virat that health is primarily the major thing that he focuses on. Apart from that, one thing that you notice with Virat is that he goes and has a sun bath every day in the afternoon, and we were wondering whether that sun bath had anything to do with the Dubai heat and whether that was his way of getting used to the heat so that he can play well. I thought there was some strategy at play there, and so we asked Virat that today when we met him that in this heat. He said no, I just like to go out. I mean, I'm pretty used to this dry heat because I come from Delhi, so this dry heat at Delhi and this kind of heat also pretty used to it. So that's about it. And then general talk we had, which wasn't cricket related, general stuff. I spoke to him about
Chakda Express.
But yeah,
Chakda
yes.
Express.
How did you know? How did you know that? That's exactly what I spoke to him about.
Wow.
See,
Yes, that's exactly what I spoke to him about.
imagine. I already know.
Yes. So that just had a brief chat with him. Very
You
relaxed.
haven't checked Virat.
he
You
was.
haven't checked Virat's Instagram stories. He's posted a picture with you. Discussed Chuck the Express. Are serious?
Yeah.
Are go and check it. Go and check it out. Otherwise, how would I know?
You know, if that had happened, my phone would have crashed by now with the mentions, and you know that, right?
No, I haven't checked. But he's relaxed. That's the good thing, huh?
Very relaxed. Though, to be honest, and if I was to be looking at a game objectively and critically, which is what our job is, I would say that he didn't look too relaxed on the crease. He looked very relaxed today.
Yes.
But he looked very relaxed on the field. If I was to sum up his innings, I think that first ball he expected it to move out a bit, but it seemed in. And then after that edge, again chasing a wide one outside the off stump, was lucky that was catchable. I know it would have been a very good catch, but it was catchable.
Unfortunately, they had a football goalkeeper over there.
Yeah.
Yes, dropped it. Then got that edge also. They got a 4 there. I think there were 2 shots which really stood out, which I thought he was in control of. One, that pull that he
Holy shot.
that was stunning, and then punch that through offside. I think those 2 shots really stood out. Other than that, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt, because see, it wasn't just Virat. Your other stroke maker in Rohit Sharma also didn't look his natural self, which means it was a tricky wicket. It was a tacky wicket. And stroke making wouldn't have been easy. But then that takes me to the point that Sunny made on our show on Sports Today. And I think that's a valid point, that if the pitch wasn't conducive to some stroke making, then shouldn't you have changed your game and not played the 2 shots that these 2 batsmen played?
Exactly.
And I know that Sunny pointed out that this whole talk of template and you have to play this aggressive cricket and all that is all fine, but you have to play to the situation. What if Hardik didn't have a good day? What if Hardik, didn't strike form? What would you do? You would have lost that game. So I think this is something for the team to ponder over. Let's not just be too obsessed with things like templates and all. Just approach the game according to the situation, and that's where Hardik comes in. I like it. He used the same conventional way of cricket in the IPL, took his team to the title, and he's doing the same here.
Because Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli both are so experienced batsmen, I agree with you and with, of course, Mr. Gavaskar also, that they could have changed their strategy a bit. They're so experienced, they could have rotated that strike, because I thought Rohit Sharma 18 balls for
12.
those 14 runs. Sorry?
12.
12 what?
12 runs of 18 balls.
12 runs of 18 balls. For I think majority of that period, he didn't even get strike. I think that also
Played into decision making.
Could have resulted in playing that rash shot. I'm not defending Rohit by saying this, but I think they could have rotated that strike. Still, Virat Kohli, the last time you saw him bat and yesterday what you saw, was there a difference?
Yes. There in that England match you're talking about, most likely. In that England game, he looked to be attacking. He looked to be aggressive and dictate terms to the bowlers. Here, he could not do that. Any stroke that he tried, anytime you saw, the bat turned in his hand so many times.
No, but the inside edges,
Yes.
he got those inside edges only because he was trying to force a shot.
Yes.
So you can say that here also maybe he was
Maybe the pitch didn't allow him to force those shots.
I think early on also, had it not been for Fakhar Zaman putting him down, I think we would have been questioning a lot more than what we were questioning, because again that chasing outside off.
Because he's not overcome that weakness. Chasing that ball outside off, because it was in that slot yet again. He pushed at it.
7th, 8th stump line.
Yes, and a team like Australia, England, South Africa, New Zealand would have caught that. They have got better slip fielders in Pakistan. And had he been dismissed for 0, the entire talk would have been different.
Yeah.
We were not discussing Hardik Pandya, it would still have been Virat Kohli.
Chalo.
But Nikhil, Virat did say in that interview that he had that in big game situations and in suppose ICC events, you have to play. You don't have to play according to a template because it will implode on that particular day.
I agree.
Yeah.
But then, is a template so important when you have to go about it? Because in this match against Pakistan, there seemed to be no template.
And they didn't need to be. Right?
No, there were. I think I don't know whether those two shots that Rohit and Virat played were based on that template that they were thinking that listen, we have to keep attacking even if we're chasing a low total because that's how we are supposed to play this format. And this is what Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid have spoken about earlier as well. So I don't know whether it was because of that template or was it just a brain fade moment where you type. And so I can understand the first shot that was played maybe to get run, but it happened then immediately after that the second shot by another experienced player. So that then cast the doubt whether it was that you were so committed to that template that you played it, or whether it was just one of those brain freeze moments. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, I was speaking to a few commentators. There was Gautam Gambhir, Wasim Akram, all of them here at the press box I was chatting with, and all of them were of the same opinion that listen, there is nothing called this template. I don't know why you guys so
True.
or even if the Indian team is thinking about this template or play like that. I mean, a wise man once said that the only template in cricket is get one more run than the opposition. That's all. It doesn't matter how you get it, and that's is as simple as that. So I think that is there. But see again, why I say about the template, and again I'm being the devil's advocate because you want the Indian team to do well. I think Pakistan had the worst possible day. Worst possible day in the sense they lost the toss, which wasn't very conducive. I know there has been no dew, but still, the batting gets slightly better in the second inning. So that was one disadvantage they got. Then Babar Azam didn't fire, their main strike batsman. Then the entire batting order failed. No one really got a big score. Then they dropped catches. Then one of their bowlers got cramps. So everything that could go wrong for Pakistan went wrong. Yet you had a very close game that went down to the wire. So I am saying the day Pakistan also plays to your potential, you will have to really up your game. So India would be happy. A win against Pakistan is a win, absolutely. But India would also know that at the moment where they are, they're not in an ideal situation. And for them to be a dominant side to beat Pakistan when they're playing at their best, the top three really need to come good, which hasn't happened so far. I don't think a low-scoring game, yes, the experience of Hardik Pandya and all will help you and Ravindra Jadeja. But in case if it's a very high-scoring game, against a good Pakistani bowling attack, you would need your top three to fire. So I think plenty for India to work on, but at least the start's been good.
Yep.
But I may differ with you because you said Pakistan had a worst possible game. India's top order has not been firing of late. In fact, it's been almost or more than a year. KL Rahul, we haven't seen him throughout this year. In fact, we haven't seen him play a single T20 international. Then Rohit Sharma's form has also
under
dipped.
25 his average this time.
And same is the case with Rohit Sharma also. And even India were missing Jasprit Bumrah. I think Naseem Shah was already carrying some injury.
No, I don't think. What I've heard from the Pakistan camp, they're saying that no, there's no injury concern as such. These were just plain cramps. And what was interesting is that they said plain cramps not because of any dehydration. It's a crucial game. I found that funny. They said it was a crunch game, so these kind of cramps happen in the crunch game. So I don't know whether it was nervousness that brought cramps because I've never heard that before. Usually it's dehydration or when you're playing in the excessive heat, it tends to happen. But what I heard from the Pakistan camp was that I think Babar mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, he said no, it was just nothing to do with injury, just cramps that happens in a big game like a crucial game like India. So I don't think much to worry about on that front end. And I think he got it right at the end. So only that one over kind of got affected.
That last
before that he was bowling full tilt. But what I'm saying is that if you look at India's performance, I think everyone played to potential. The only thing where India did not play to potential was the top three. Whereas in Pakistan, all factors, none of them played to potential. So if you look at that, every department of theirs didn't really work well. Most of the departments didn't work well. In India's case, you expect this from Ravindra Jadeja, you expect this from Hardik Pandya, this is what you expect from the Indian bowling. So all of those, and the Indian fielding, all of those factors work for India, and you won that game very closely. For Pakistan, all those factors did not work, yet the game went down to the wire. So if you will have a scenario where all factors are working for both teams, as in they're playing at their best, then I think it's going to be a very, very close contest. And that's why I say that if England top 3 fire, then India would feel slightly more secure.
Absolutely. But Nikhil, looking at the first match that was played, Afghanistan-Sri Lanka, where most of the wickets went to spinners, same wicket, all the wickets for India were taken by the pacers. Do you think the pitch in Dubai has surprised everybody? Every team has been taken by surprise?
No, actually, if you look at that earlier game as well, I think the fast bowlers were looking very, very good in that game.
Yep.
It's just that the spinners, because Afghanistan have such a heavy spin attack, they end up getting a lot of wickets, and they get wickets no matter where or which track you're playing. So it is going to help the fast bowlers, and I think India picked that up based on that game. That's why they decided to go in with the 3 fast bowlers, because the conditions here can help the fast bowling. I think the biggest difference between India and Pakistan was Indian fast bowler, and that includes Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. I mean, he's a swing bowler, he's a seam bowler, but wasn't getting that kind of seam movement that Naseem Shah got. So that's where the skills come in, and I think that was a big difference between the two teams. AajTak also, is a smart bowler.
Yes,
He around with his lengths and not really the swing in a seam bowler. It's only Bhuvi who does that, but on that department also, Naseem looked more dangerous simply because it wasn't swing, but it was seam movement that Naseem was getting, which the Indian fast bowlers didn't quite get. India had to rely on that surprise short pitch ball to get wickets. Whereas if you look at Pakistan, Naseem got that seam movement going, and that is what troubled them. So that is a skill factor which Pakistan had, and India didn't have that going for them. And as for Afghanistan, if you saw that program that Harbhajan Singh spoke today about, he actually made Afghanistan to be the dangerous side. He in fact believes that
I heard
probably
that.
Afghanistan might reach the final. So he's saying India need to be very wary of Afghanistan. He's saying if that Afghanistan team can bat well, if they can get 160, 170, then with the bowling attack that they have, most teams will struggle. Their bowling is the strength. Batting, if it fires on a given day, like Rahmanullah Gurbaz and the likes, fire, then teams better watch out for Afghanistan.
Yeah. Okay, Shobhan Sai is saying doesn't template means tarika, I guess. Tarika is saying.
Yeah.
You, I don't know, you would be referring to me, to Nikhil, to you guys, or to everybody. Say that India needs to change that tarika they are playing in T20, which is just an extension of ODIs. Yes, I think that's what the captain has been saying, that we need to change a template, change the template, because that even Virat has said in the past.
True.
And secondly, what I have noticed in the past is, whenever India were batting first, that is where I thought that at times they were struggling. They didn't know what is a good score. Chase, I think as far as chasing is concerned, India hasn't had too many problems in the past. Of course, Virat was one of the primary factors.
Then you had a finisher like Dhoni.
Yes. So template, as Nikhil said, I think you just need victories. That's it. How? Doesn't matter.
The 2 losses that came in the T20 World Cup all came when you were batting first.
Yes.
You lost to Pakistan batting first, you lost to New Zealand batting first.
I think there's, Shobhan is again, can you take this one?
Again, Shobhan is saying toss is invariable in this pitch. So losing toss is not a disadvantage to Pakistan. It's not against Pak because no due.
And actually there was
No. So I tell you what, I mentioned it that time as well. Yes, they may not be due, so the toss isn't that advantageous, but it still carries an advantage. That's what I'm trying to say. Because batting under the lights, the ball comes onto the bat slightly more. It's better for stroke making in the second. You will, because see the amount of heat that you have in Dubai, and because you're going to be using the same strip again and again, if the pitch is sluggish at all, it is going to be in the first inning. So first inning will always be a bit sluggish and will not allow you to play a lot of strokes. So toss will still be important. It will be important, and most teams you will see will change. It's just that big advantage is not there because of you. But that does not mean that winning a toss is not an advantage.
And as it is in T20s, if the conditions do not change a lot, every team prefers to bat second, because
Exactly.
in T20s
Yes.
it is always advised that if you know the score what
It's
you are
just
chasing,
easier.
it is always better. Anyways, Nikhil, there are a lot of questions that you may have to answer. Gautam Bhatia, okay, Gautam Bhatia says, as Dhoni decoated before 2015 World Cup that Sachin, Sehwag and Gambhir cannot play together. Same is the case with Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and KL Rahul in T20s. Your views, Nikhil?
Wow.
Oh, that's a very tough one, and I like the interesting analogy that is being made. But I'll tell you the difference in that analogy is the reason it was decided to rotate between Sehwag, Sachin, and Gautam Gambhir was not their form with the bat. It was because MS Dhoni clarified, said that in bigger grounds in Australia, quote unquote, bigger grounds, you cannot have these three fielding together. So you would need better fielders. And if you remember to that entire comment by Dhoni, Virendra Sehwag had a retort when he took a fantastic catch.
Yes.
He said that, oh, this is what MS Dhoni has said, and he said that, oh, did you see my catch? So that's the difference. Here, I think your reference of the three is, of course, the batting form. But I mean, if you were to look at it now, it doesn't look like an ideal scenario, yes, but then that's momentary, it's temporary, it's just we're talking about while being in the moment, and you can't take all your decisions being in the moment. You have to take a look at the pedigree of a player and things like that. So for the moment, any thoughts of either one of them sitting out do not exist, not in the near future. But if it affects India's results going forward for a consistent amount of time, then maybe there will be a thought where you look at resting one of them. But nothing at the moment I think is on the horizon.
And Hardik Pandya, is he the most complete player in this Indian team? See, earlier we knew that he was a dasher who could hit the ball into the stands. But now what we've seen lately, that we saw in the IPL also,
Yes.
he promoted himself.
Up the order with the bat and ball. Remember,
Played
he was bowling
according
in
to the
power play.
situation.
Calculated stroke play,
Yes.
aggressive bowling.
Is he the most complete player in this Indian team now?
Who am I to say anything now when Sunny Vai himself has said that he's, I think, probably the biggest match winner in India, or something to that effect. He said yesterday. Then Harbhajan Singh on our show just a short while ago, you must have heard, he actually compared
Him with Viv
Hardik
Richard.
Pandya's swag to Viv
Viv
Richard.
Richard.
Yeah, I heard that.
Very high praise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he said, by the way, I mean, let me tell you, and I'm reporting this, having watched that swag up close and personal, that swag is very real. It's not just some, abstract thing that people created that, oh, he has a swag and he walks like that. No, that swag is very real. And just to, because template, what does template really mean? And just to, let you know what swag means. Swag is not just style. I think it's also the attitude. It's also something that exudes a lot of confidence, which, as I've been saying since yesterday, was very visible with Hardik Pandya, not just from Hardik. So that confidence that he exudes is one thing which you can feel, but even as a third person who's watching him, you feel that confidence. So I mean, 89 for 4 India were, and I saw Hardik Pandya walk out.
Good.
And what does the swag really means? If I have to just quantify the swag, that swag meant that when he walked out at 89 for 4 and he was going out, I felt confident. Had it been anyone else in that situation, I may have thought, oh, it's a precarious position, anything can happen. With Hardik there, the way he walked, the way he was talking to his non-striker, looking at each bowler, the way he was acting, it was giving me confidence watching him live. So I think that's what is a swag. That is what he brings, the complete package. By the way, the other thing you can notice, and sometimes you don't see those visuals on screen, you don't see it on TV. So since I was at the ground, I could report that he was also part of the leadership group. Yes. I saw him very often when India was fielding. He was playing an active role in marshalling the fielders, in probably deciding who the next guy is. He was constantly, contributing as part of the leadership group. So he's taking that responsibility as he did with the Gujarat team. So all in all, he's emerged as one fine package. And what Harbhajan Singh also pointed out, we keep talking about this swag. The swag doesn't come that, oh, I'm cool and I have this attitude and suddenly the swag will come. He said the swag is actually a result of all the hard work that he puts. So he said, I've seen him up close and personal after the injury. he's either training in the nets or he's either in the gym. He's putting in a lot of effort behind the scenes, which we don't see sometimes. And these are the dividends of that hard work. It's not just happened that he got fit and he walked out as a hero. No, he's put in a lot of hard work.
True.
That's the hard work that is giving him this sort of confidence.
I think what Hardik Pandya over the years has been able to do is change perception.
Yes.
You know, Harbhajan Singh, I remember that actually that video went viral also after what after that Hardik Pandya and KL Rahul were suspended also. A lot of criticism was directed towards them, and I remember not too long ago Harbhajan Singh in fact openly apologized that I was wrong, I read the situation wrongly, and he apologized to Hardik Pandya for whatever he had said. And of course, they played for the same franchisee, as I heard during that show with Nikhil that Harbhajan Singh did. He's played in Ranji Trophy also against each other, Harbhajan. And so I think the biggest thing that Hardik Pandya has been able to do is change perception.
Yes.
Over the years, how he's been able to, after marriage, after fatherhood, of course. And why I said the most complete player was because you can throw him into any situation. Earlier Hardik है ना, आपको चाहिए कितने, आपको 40 रन चाहिए आप in last 3-4 overs, Hardik will get it done. But now you can throw him into any situation, he will get the job done. And now that he is bowling full tilt, bowling those heavy balls, pushing the batsman on the back foot again and again and again, I think.
As he said, he planned over by over. That is the calculated stroke play I'm talking about. And again he said, even if I had to hit 15 in the last over, I knew I could do it. The self-assurance and the confidence that he has now is on a different level.
Also remember
that Dhoni used to have.
Yes. Also remember when Pant scored that 100 in the final ODI against England, who was the person standing on the other side of him?
Yeah.
Hardik Pandya.
Pandya,
Was
yes.
constantly even going up to him, telling him things. I think he actually kept Pant calm, because Pant does have a tendency of getting a little carried away sometimes. Hardik being there on the other side helped a lot.
Yep.
And we have an interesting super chat from Rajkumar Bhardwaj, who says that Hardik 2.0 is just showing his prowess as an all-rounder and somewhat doing what Kapil was to the 80s team. Okay, that's a heavy comparison. Can we see Hardik as the captain of shorter format in the years to come and later maybe in tests? Tests, I'm not sure. But
Tests, I don't think so, because he may not want to get injured. His back injury might restrict him to just playing white ball cricket.
But I mean, in ODI and T20I cricket, he's making a good case for himself.
T20s, I agree. T20s, I think Nikhil also pointed out that he could see him in that leadership group. After all, he's been playing for India
for a long time. He was
now.
fast-tracked, remember.
He should be part of that leadership group. It's just that captaincy is a designation, is an official designation.
Yes.
He doesn't have that.
He's a leader for sure.
For example, Rohit Sharma today is a captain and a leader. Virat Kohli is a leader. He may not be the captain of this team anymore. But in times to come, I think you never know. Hardik Pandya, I think also the kind of camaraderie that he shares with virtually every player in the team.
Yes.
Because he's somewhere in the middle. Not everybody is too senior to him. Not everybody is too junior to him. So he shares a similar camaraderie with virtually every.
He's like the middle sibling.
Every player.
Yep. And again, Hardik Pandya, look, he had to unfortunately have that fall. In 2018, that back injury put him at the crossroads of his career. India was not settling for Hardik Pandya only as a batsman. They wanted both Hardik the batsman and the bowler, the total package. And after that incident which happened, he said, he clearly told his close peers and all his teammates, this is the last negative news you will hear from me.
Yes.
And look what has happened, and he's got a very clear mind, uncluttered mind. He's just going about his work. As he said, over by over I plan, I am not bothered. I know that the bowler will be under pressure. That is the Dhoni school of thought. I know the bowler will be under pressure. I'll take it deep, 15, no problem, I'll hit it. Because he knew, even if there were 5 fielders, even if you placed 10 fielders outside of the circle also, I would have still hit it for a 6.
And imagine the kind of options that he gives to the captain. Avesh Khan, playing a high pressure game against Pakistan. And
just 2 overs.
Just 2 overs. So even the captain would be very relieved. Okay, Pradyuman Singh says, I think Jaddu played a crucial role by taking
One end.
Okay, by taking one end when wickets were falling and smashed timely boundaries and bowling is. By the way, he was bowling. He was pretty good with his. He may not have got.
He didn't get wickets.
And he didn't complete his quota.
And in fact, he made up for Yajuvendra Chahal's off day with the ball.
No, but UC Chahal was pretty okay.
32. He was the third most expensive in that whole Indian lineup. But Jaddu bowled very well and was hitting some extra bounces.
Yes.
Yeah, at one point, I remember Karthik was not able to even read it.
And much more impact, I will say, adding to Pradyuman Singh's point, because Jadeja was promoted up the. If Surya Kumar had done, they would have persisted with Mohammad Nawaz. But because the left-hander was promoted up the order, they had to delay Mohammad Nawaz.
And then
Pakistan didn't have many options also.
No, they had exactly 5. That was the big problem. That's why Naseem, despite being so afflicted with cramp, had to complete his final over.
Yes.
Because they didn't have another option.
And Jadeja played until the last over. So Rauf, Naseem, Pakistan were hoping, okay, let me.
Maybe Rauf will get.
Yes, but it didn't happen.
Exactly.
So that is why.
Aditya Kavlekar has announced that Hardik Pandya is your new MS Dhoni. By the way, Raghav Singh, if you did predict it,
Big call, because I don't think any of us got it.
I said
It was a shocker for me too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we had done a predicting 11 and none of us. I picked DK.
Yeah,
but I picked DK as my choice. I said team management is 100% going with Pant.
Right.
What do I know?
Yep.
Were you surprised, Nikhil? I think that was the biggest news, because I remember a lot of people thought that India might just go in with 3 spinners and 2 fast bowlers plus Hardik Pandya.
Yeah.
But when Rohit came out for the toss, he said, I'll not discuss a lot of other things. I'll just let you guys know that Pant is not playing,
Yes.
DK is playing. But that, I think, was pretty surprising.
Were you surprised, Nikhil? DK first choice ahead of Pant.
No, I'm not surprised in that. In fact, if you remember, I had been saying that I think that there is going to be one between DK and Pant who will play in the 11. And I had, if you remember, reported that if there was one guy who was really timing the ball well in the practice session, it was Dinesh Karthik. And I included Rohit Sharma also, and I had included Hardik Pandya and all other stroke makers. I mean, we spent a considerable amount of time, and I think the role. See, and this is why have they decided? I'm trying to find reasons. I think Ravindra Jadeja is what has helped them decide to go in with this batting order, simply because while DK and Pant are fighting for the spot of the wicket keeper, they're not fighting for the spot in the batting order. So Rishabh Pant is your middle order batsman, whereas Dinesh Karthik is your lower order batsman who's a finisher. I think what the Indian team realized that in the middle order, like those kind of batsmen that will bat in the middle order, they have plenty of choices, and in that choice, there is Surya Kumar Yadav who's ahead and Virat Kohli who's ahead. I'm talking about. And need be, if you need a left-hander, and that's the advantage that Rishabh has, need be, you will push Ravindra Jadeja up. By the way, that didn't happen by chance. If you remember the West Indies series before the IPL, Jadeja was consistently playing at number 4. So I think this thought process started even then to have a left-hander there. Once they've got that sorted, then Pant and DK are not fighting for the same spot, because what DK has given you is that finisher's role when you're chasing a big total and you need some big runs at the end. So that's the role he's playing. Do you have many other options in that place? No. Maybe a Huda, I don't know whether he's that guy you can look at. And there is a Dinesh Karthik, and I think Dinesh Karthik is ahead there. So looking at the combination they've gone. So while it may seem like it's DK versus Pant, but if you look at the batting order closely, it's not DK versus Pant. You could even have a situation, I'm saying, let's say, in between Virat, Surya Kumar Yadav, these middle order batsmen. In the future, I don't know, a year down the line, you think, one of them needs to go out of the team because they're not scoring none. That's where Pant, I think, guarantees a spot. Whereas, DK is down the order. Though I know that DK is a very short-term kind of a fix, only till this T20 World Cup. I don't think is going to be something for the future. But I'm saying that fight, and if DK is out of form, I don't think it's Pant that covers up that spot. You will have to look at a Huda to cover that spot at number 7. The guy who. So they are fulfilling different roles, and I think looking at the balance, they went with Dinesh Karthik. And by the way, sometimes we see signs of knowing what the 11 could be, and what we had noticed was the day before the game, there was optional practice, and everyone who came out to practice was the one who was not playing the game. And we spoke about it in our chats, saying that if you go by that logic, which does come true sometimes, then we know what the 11 is. And that's exactly what happened. The 11 was the guys that did not go on the optional practice. So we knew at the time that Ravichandran Ashwin, Deepak Hooda, Ravi Bishnoi, Rishabh Pant, Deepak Chair, all these guys were there out to practice, and they were not going to make it clear. So this was decided well in advance. So didn't surprise me. I thought it was a 50-50. I didn't think that either one of them was favourite to start between DK and Pant. It was a 50-50 call, and they went with Dinesh Karthik.
I think Jay Thakkar knows a bit of television news. He's saying, mark my words, you can today itself get a package ready on KL Rahul. So that you'll be a little free on 31st.
Very, very, very cheeky.
Very cheeky.
Can you send us a few
What
links?
package is he talking about? That he's looking rusty? That's the package he's talking about?
Obviously not, I'm sure.
No, I don't think that's
No,
the
no,
one.
he said that he will score runs.
I know. Just pulling his leg.
But KL Rahul's?
No, I think Jay.
No. Jay Thakkar.
Because KL Rahul's legs, maybe that's the worry these days.
I'm not the same league to be pulling KL Rahul's leg.
Chalo, Nikhil, I think maybe it's time for you
Yes.
to do something else more productive and constructive.
True. Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
right.
where all have you visited? Did our
No place.
Bajju Park?
Only place I've visited is
Dubai
the
International
ground, the training facility, and the hotel that I'm staying in. Only 3 places. I'm not. But the beach and the restaurant are in the hotel where I'm
No, but
staying.
Harbhajan Singh is very familiar to this entire city. He can take you around.
Yeah, but Harbhajan Singh is very tough to catch. We barely catch him for the show, and then it's very tough. He's the man in demand, so very tough to catch.
Is it?
Dubai Creek, that's one place Nikhil should go on his off time. Dubai Creek.
Dubai Creek.
And stay away from a few people. Amit Shah, your dear friend, he can take you around. Although he's a
Yes, he's been telling me.
He's
but
a-
I said India-Pakistan game very hectic.
He's a
So he said that let it be.
although he's a nocturnal animal, if I can call him, because
Yes.
that is when he wakes up. And
Yes.
around 5 a.m. he'll return to his hotel room and he will start singing and will finish his singing session till 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning, and that is
Yes.
when he'll decide to doze off for a while. Chalo, anyways, you carry on. We'll get in touch tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Shivratri to you too. Chalo guys, anyways, Nikhil will continue to get us
All the updates.
all the
from
updates
Dubai.
and news
analysis
from Dubai.
Dubai.
And because next one we as in India
India
play
plays
Hong Kong.
and
Major match.
thereafter again
And we'll potentially play Pakistan
on
on
Sunday
September
again.
4th, Sunday. And then either of Afghanistan or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka.
yeah.
As the other team.
I think after this Hong Kong game, we'll have some good exciting matches against never know Bangladesh.
Tomorrow is
I would be very interested in India-Afghanistan match.
I think everybody would.
Afghanistan is
Just remember the last encounter that they had in the Asia Cup, it was a tie. In the World Cup, Afghanistan nearly pulled off a win.
Were it
only
not for Shami.
Mohammad Shami to take
Yes.
that hat-trick.
And I think some years ago we used to say that the biggest Asian rivalry now could be between India and Bangladesh, not between India and Pakistan or India and Sri Lanka. With the
Bangladesh
way,
have then-
but Bangladesh, yes, as
They
a
have
team.
suffered a dip. Although 2016 and 2018 they've been the two-time finalists.
So maybe the biggest rivalry in times to come could be India and Afghanistan. Asian rivalry.
Dasun Shanaka, the Sri Lanka captain, has anyway said that Bangladesh don't have that much of world-class bowlers, and that has really caused a big issue in the Bangladesh press. They are
But is
literally
it wrong? I mean,
he just said there's only Mustafiz and Shakib. He's technically not wrong though.
he's
but
technically not wrong. A very frank admission from him. Otherwise, it's always,
Before we leave, Sumit Agarwal has a question. He says Shaheen and Naseem Shah are overrated. Just saw their stats in Sena countries. It's just that KL Rahul or Virat Kohli, that these bowlers are looking good. Just see how England, Australia, South Africa bash them. Check their stats. I don't think they are overrated. They are actually very good bowlers.
Agreed. But their record in the Sena countries is terrible.
Yes, I agree.
But Naseem is inexperienced. He's not had that much of exposure in
Exactly.
the Sena countries.
Why are we criticizing Naseem?
I would still say that. That's why I was, we were sitting here on the dugout only, and when Shaheen Shah Afridi was announced that he is out of the Asia Cup, there was a huge hue and cry. I said it's just one bowler.
But now you see why.
No, I agree that he is the leader of that pack. But I am saying one bowler. He is just one bowler, and he hasn't won you a World Cup or a big tournament.
Yes.
In fact, I partly will hold him responsible for the loss against Australia. I agree. Australia were ahead. Hassan Ali dropped that catch, but thereafter, if he was such a great bowler, he could have.
Barring that 1.5 overs that he had against India, rest of the tournament he was pretty average.
I would still say that he is a very good bowler, but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't rate him amongst the greats.
Just
As an
even
equal
this
bowler
era.
Even now.
Exciting prospect.
Yeah, the likes of Pat Cummins, Rabada, Jasprit Bumrah, Trent Bolt. It's just that he's tall, fast, left arm pace bowler,
And again,
can bowl those Yorkers.
And left arm pacers, we know how Pakistan
And
can
left
produce
arm from
them.
Pakistan.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
So I still feel that he's a very good bowler. Just that I won't rate
He's
him.
nowhere
amongst-
near the finished product at this point because
yeah.
he has highs. Like, of course, if we're talking about his like bad record in Sena countries, it's also worth noting that he helped. I think it was Lahore Qalandars win a PSL. They were the bogey team.
He did a Hardik Pandya in Pakistan.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Of course, Hardik in debut he made it.
And no disrespect to any of the Pakistani players, Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. Imagine if they would have been playing in India with that kind of
They would have been
strike rate.
We would have been pillaring them.
In fact, in India, people do not shy away to criticize. I think would be a very mild word.
Yeah.
They don't shy away to even criticize a Virat Kohli or a Rohit Sharma,
Correct.
or even KL Rahul for that kind of strike rate, and they are
I mean, yesterday when you
strike rate
just
of how much? 120.
43 or 42.
Yesterday he was 102, but his career strike rate is 129.
129.
Who's?
Rizwan. And remember, Rizwan of 2021 is a shadow in 2022.
Exactly. This current version of him is a much
milder.
because back then even if he wasn't scoring at a great rate, at least he was getting you 50-60 runs. Yeah, that's not even happening.
No, yesterday he scored 43.
43
or 42
42
yeah,
balls.
but a much slower strike rate.
Yeah.
Just
Much
saying a
slower.
lot.
I'm saying if Virat would have played a similar innings, people would have been after his life.
To be fair, they were.
I mean, 35 or 34 yesterday,
And that too when you're batting first.
when you were simply there for 34 balls for 35, people were grateful for that Virat spent that much amount of time. But I'm sorry, that almost pushed India to the brink. He and Rohit Sharma, 47, 52 balls at an average strike rate of 83. Sorry.
See, they both got out. Both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli got out almost at the same time.
Overs,
Yeah,
different overs, but like the same bowler.
But if you see, I will not take anything away from them when it comes to the shot selection. I thought, that inside out shot that Virat attempted, that used to be his bread and butter.
Shot, yes.
And Rohit Sharma, his strike rate had dropped a lot. Till then he got a 6 of Mohammad
Nawaz,
and then he thought that this is my opportunity, I will go after him.
Now's the time to change gears.
So at least he showed that intent. But yes, both of them were scratchy, and we'll have to admit it. I'm sure for Virat, hopefully he'll be better in the next few games. But if I compare, we often compare. Babar Azam, of course, is a Virat himself. I am nobody, you are nobody, and you are nobody. Virat himself has said that he thinks that Babar is the most complete player across formats.
Yes,
that's what he said.
That's what
in
he
that
said.
interview.
Yes,
but there are other. I still feel that there are other good players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alongside Babar Azam,
All format players.
Yeah,
so
Babar has got runs everywhere in the world, but majority of the teams that he's played, especially in white ball cricket, who has he played against?
Against the lesser nation.
The majority of the matches.
West Indies,
Yes.
Zimbabwe, and of course, but to his credit, to his defense, we will say that he did score a ODI 100 against Australia in 2022. He hit, I think, 2 centuries against them, but at home conditions, which were flat. Yes, he has struggled in the Sena countries. If you look at the Fab 4, his average in the Sena countries is underwhelming. Babar Azam's. But apart from that, he stakes a claim to be in that Fab 5.
5. Yeah.
Yes. And Aditya, let me tell you, the slow over rate could have backfired even for India. Remember, even India's over rate was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also were
So
dealing
from
with one
over
fielder.
17 to 20, you allowed Pakistan, Shahnawaz Dani, those 16 runs in the end really made this match a match. Otherwise, at 128 for 9, if they're bowled out, it was not a match. I'm sorry. So it can backfire on any given day. And remember, it just takes one bad session. In India's case, you may have done brilliantly for 11 months and 29 days. But on the last day, if it backfires, your whole year's effort goes down the drain. That's how it is.
Anyways, guys,
Yeah, we can-
time to take a leave.
Time to take a leave. Yes, so tomorrow the Asia Cup resumes. Bangladesh versus Afghanistan.
I think that
There's no match today.
There is no match today.
Huh?
Every Monday there is a break.
there's a break on Monday.
There's a break on Monday. On Monday, 5th.
Arey, I thought.
We thought we'd be building up to a match now.
No.
It would have started, no?
No, as it is, for us, the priority is Indian
of course.
cricket.
No.
We have been accused of that. For you people, there is no cricket besides Indian cricket.
Yeah. No,
I
but
thought
there's
there
no
was a
match
match
today.
today.
No, there's no match today.
Today there is a break, and next Monday also, after India Pakistan, there is a break of 1 day.
How good is that
People
news,
need-
by the way?
people
How good
need
is that
to
news?
soak it.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
people-
Soak it in, recover.
So in this Asia Cup, 2 Mondays, there will be no matches.
Yeah.
Today and on 5th.
There are only 2 Mondays in this Asia Cup.
That's
But then both Mondays there's no matches.
There's no match.
See, no Monday morning blues,
Blues,
for the
exactly.
players.
Yeah.
And that too, coincidentally, both after India-Pakistan games.
Potentially at least.
Potentially, yeah.
the
If
second
Hong Kong do the unthinkable and knock Pakistan out, then A1 versus A2 is going to be India-Hong Kong again.
That's not going to happen, I guess.
That
No,
will
no,
not happen.
not a chance.
Babar and Rizwan will score.
But
50 of 60.
we all thought Ireland
Not
we thought Ireland would make it in the 2007 World Cup, but they defeated Pakistan.
2007 was a year of upsets.
Upsets, yeah. And Hong Kong, remember, won the qualifiers quite comprehensively.
Yeah, they're not a bad team, but again,
Sidvi sir, Sidvi sir is against Pakistan.
Virat, sir.
Arey yaar,
Sid
jaane do.
Virat, sir,
There's
against-
one more super chat.
Yeah.
let's just take that.
Naseem Shah, incredible. AJ Iskon is saying Naseem Shaheen, incredible swing bowler, not death. As Bud said, toughest swing attack India played in 22. I think VK knock yesterday was Impo will have to finish.
Important, but we'll have to
Yeah.
finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Fair
true.
enough.
That's
Valid
true.
point.
That's true.
True.
He
Chalo.
played 3
Sorry.
match winning 2014-16. Sridhar Sagar, I agree, yesterday wasn't well. Stop hyping the template. I'm not hyping the template. I'm saying there is no template.
Exactly.
And if you're chasing the template, is get the runs. Simple as.
That's it.
Template
Sridhar, I
matters
have-
more in first innings.
For me, I don't understand the word template in cricket. Plain and simple.
In cricket.
Chalo,
He
bye
generally
bye.
gets it.
Yeah. Chalo, bye bye. Thank you. Vanakkam from all of us.
Century incoming and loading.
For KL.
For who, I wonder?